Adrian Charles. Ade Edmondson is an English comedian, actor, writer, musician, television presenter and director. He came to prominence in the early 1980s and was part of the alternative comedy boom. He is probably best known for his comedic roles in the television series The Young Ones and Bottom, for which he also wrote together with his longtime collaborative partner Rik Mayall. Edmondson also appeared in the Comic Strip Presents series of films throughout the 1980s and 1990s. For one episode of this he created the spoof heavy metal band Bad News, and for another he played his nihilistic alter ego Eddie Monsoon, an offensive South African television star. He played the lead role in the 1985 spin-off feature film, The Supergrass. In the 2000s, Edmondson appeared in numerous TV programs in more serious drama roles including Jonathan Creek, Holby City, Miss Austen Regrets, as himself on Hell's Kitchen and created the sitcom Teenage Kicks. Since 2006 Edmondson has concentrated increasingly on music instead of acting, forming band The Bad Shepherds and performing and writing for the Bonzo Dog Doo Dah Band. In 2011 he presented a series of shows for ITV, The Dales, which focused on people working in the Yorkshire Dales, and Aid in Britain, in which he undertook a tour of numerous places in Britain. The series was so popular that a second series aired in spring 2012. Edmondson has been married to fellow comedian Jennifer Saunders since 1985 and they have 3 daughters and 2 grandchildren. He lives in Devon and London. Early life: Edmondson, the second of 4 children, was born in Bradford, West Riding of Yorkshire. As a child, he spent time living with his family in a variety of places including Cyprus, Bahrain, and Uganda, where his father was a teacher in the armed forces. Later, for a period in the mid-1980s, his father became the deputy headmaster at the former Drummond Middle School in Manningham, Bradford. Edmondson attended Pocklington School, East Riding of Yorkshire from 1968 to 1975. In an interview with the Times Educational Supplement, he stated that he did not enjoy his education at Pocklington. Edmondson calculated that during his time at Pocklington, he received a total of 66 strokes of the cane as well as frequent slipperings. By the time he was in 6th form, with his parents working abroad, Edmondson began to enjoy himself, which involved lots of drinking and smoking and petty acts of vandalism. He made some good friends at the school and had a favourite teacher, Michael Aubrey. Aubrey taught Edmondson for English and encouraged him to pursue drama, casting him in a number of school plays, and allowing him to take time out of other lessons to do drama. After Pocklington, Edmondson went to the University of Manchester to study drama, where he met his future comedy partner Rik Mayall, and graduated with a 2:1 degree. Edmondson and Mayall soon became best friends and before long found work on the burgeoning alternative comedy scene. Comedy career, 1980s, under the name 20th Century Coyote, Edmondson and Mayall became one of the star attractions at the Comedy Store. As their popularity grew, Edmondson, Mayall and other upcoming comedians, including Nigel Planer, Peter Richardson, Alexei Sayle and French and Saunders moved from the Comedy Store to the Comic Strip Club. The Comic Strip soon gained a reputation as one of the most popular comedy clubs in London and soon came to the attention of Channel 4. Edmondson and the others were commissioned to act in 6 self-contained half-hour films, using the group as comedy actors rather than stand-up performers. The series, entitled The Comic Strip Presents, debuted on November 2, 1982. The first episode to be broadcast was 5 Go Mad in Dorset, a parody of Enid Blyton's famous 5, which drew anger from some viewers for the way it mercilessly satirized a children's classic. Edmondson starred as one of the 5. By the same time as The Comic Strip Presents was being negotiated, the BBC signed Edmondson, Mayall, Richardson, Planer and Sayle to star in The Young Ones, a sitcom in the same anarchic style as the comic strip. The show revolved around the shared house where 4 students lived during their studies at Scumbag College. It was noted at the time of its first airing for its violent slapstick, with Edmondson's character as the main instigator. This is a trait which has stayed with him throughout his career. The series captured public imagination and remains one of Britain's most popular sitcoms. During this time, Edmondson also appeared in a bank advertisement in what was, basically, his Vivian guise. Following the success of the comic strip Presents, and, to a greater extent, The Young Ones, Edmondson and Mayall returned to their Coyote dynamic in the double act The Dangerous Brothers with Edmondson as Sir Adrian Dangerous and Saturday Live. In 1983, he appeared as the lead singer Vim Fuego in the spoof heavy metal band called Bad News with his Young Ones co-stars Rik Mayall, Nigel Planer and Peter Richardson of comic strip Presents. On May 11, 1985, Edmondson married fellow comic strip actor Jennifer Saunders, with whom he has 3 daughters, Eleanor, Beatrice and Freya. Edmondson's university nickname of Eddie Monsoon, a play on his surname, inspired the name of Saunders' character, Eddie Monsoon in Absolutely Fabulous and his own characters Eddie Catflap, and Eddie Hitler. Edmondson and Saunders jointly established their own production company called Mr. and Mrs. Monsoon Limited. Also in 1985 Edmondson starred with Saunders in Happy Families, a rural comedy drama written by Ben Elton which appeared on the BBC and told the story of the dysfunctional Fuddle family. In 1987, Edmondson reunited with Planer and Mayall to star in Filthy Rich and Catflap, a comic attack on showbiz, again written by Elton. He played a character called Edward Catflap, a coarse and drunken minder of light entertainment nonentity Richie Rich. In this show Edmondson displayed the same slapstick characteristics as Vivian in The Young Ones but was closer in personality to his later character Eddie Hitler in Bottom. The show received critical acclaim but poor viewing figures and was cancelled after 1 series. Edmondson also co-starred in 1987 with Mayall in the ITV sitcom Hardwick House. Due to the adverse reaction of both press and viewers, however, ITV withdrew the series after 2 episodes and the remaining episodes have never been shown. In 1988, he released a follow-up to How to Be a Complete Bastard called The Bastard's Book of the Worst. In 1989 he made an appearance in an episode of Blackadder Goes Forth as the Red Baron, nemesis to Mayall's character, Lord Flashheart, 1990s. Edmondson played Brad Majors in the 1990 West End run of The Rocky Horror Show, alongside Tim McInerney as Frank N. Furter and Ed Tudor Pole as Riff Raff. He also appears on the soundtrack album of the production. In 1991, he teamed with his comedy partner Rik Mayall once more, this time co-writing and co-starring in their own sitcom, Bottom. Edmondson starred as Edward Elizabeth Hitler opposite Mayall's Richard Richard. The series featured the slapstick and crude humor for which the pair had become famous but with more in-depth character analysis. Mayall and Edmondson have said that Bottom was aimed to be more than just a series of toilet gags, but a cruder cousin to plays like Waiting for Godot about the pointlessness of life. Edmondson played Estragon to Mayall's Vladimir in Samuel Beckett's play in the West End, in a production that opened at the Queen's Theatre on September 30, 1991. Bottom became very popular, but it was criticised for its often vulgar humour. Edmondson was also censured for essentially reprising the same character he had been playing for his entire career. The show was also turned into 5 UK stage tours. The violent nature of these shows saw both Edmondson and Mayall ending up in hospital. In 1993, Edmondson starred alongside Richard Briers in a black comedy called If You See God, Tell Him. Edmondson played Gordon Spry, whose uncle is paralyzed and has a greatly reduced attention span. His erratic behavior causes problems for Gordon. The series comprised 4 episodes, each 45 minutes long, and only broadcast once. The BBC has not repeated the series, although 1 episode was broadcast on BBC4 on December 3, 2007. Since 1993 Edmondson has been voicing the animal in adverts for Pepperami. September 1995, Edmondson released his first novel, The Gobbler. In 1996, he played the role of Ace-Face Bellboy at the Who's performance of Quadrophenia at London's Hyde Park. A video game called Animal, featuring Pepperami's The Animal, was released the same year, with the character being voiced by Edmondson. From 1997 to 1998 he voiced Engine Stoker Jones, a major character in the animated series Captain Star. In the 1998 ITV pantomime Jack and the Beanstalk, Edmondson played Jack's mother Dame Dolly alongside Neil Morrissey, Denise Van Outen, Paul Merton, Julian Clary and Julie Walters. The show was broadcast on December 25 on ITV1 and continues to be shown every year around Christmas. Following the 1997 Bottom stage tour, Hooligans Island, Mayall and Edmondson worked on the idea of a Bottom film in which Richie and Eddie run a hotel. The two had been working on the script together and were set to co-direct. In 1998 Mayall was seriously injured and spent a few days in a coma. Edmondson found this time very difficult. When Mayall came around he helped Edmondson complete the script while still in hospital. A film became Guest House Paradiso. In December 2004 the Daily Mirror newspaper quoted Edmondson as saying, "It's definitely time to stop. We're getting too old. We both realized that the show wasn't as engaging as it used to be. We were starting to look a bit ridiculous. We're both nearly 50 and we're starting to feel slightly undignified talking about wanking and knobs constantly." Rik Mayall repeatedly said that they would work together again, they just needed a good idea. 2000s, Edmondson appeared regularly in Series 4 of the BBC mystery series Jonathan Creek, broadcast in 2003–2004. He had a lead role playing an NHS doctor in the comedy series Doctors and Nurses, first broadcast in early 2004. In Surviving Disaster, a BBC docudrama about the 1986 Chernobyl disaster, broadcast at the start of 2006, Edmondson played the role of Dr. Valery Legasov. In 2005 he appeared as a celebrity model on Star Portraits with Rolf Harris. That year, he also competed on Comic Relief Does Fame Academy, where he made it to the finale and came in third place. From 2005 to 2008 he appeared as Percy Abra-Durant in the medical drama Holby City. In 2008 he played Henry Austen in the BBC-produced film Miss Austen Regrets and Vernon in the ITV sitcom Teenage Kicks. In April 2009 he appeared on the cooking show Hell's Kitchen, where he reached the final, coming second to Linda Evans. Edmondson played the role of Captain Hook in the Canterbury Marlow Arena pantomime during its Christmas 2009 run. 2010s, in April 2010, he said to the Daily Express that he had quit comedy, stating that his interest in it has declined for many years and that he wanted to focus more on his band, claiming it is more fun than doing comedy. He also played down the idea of a potential reunion with Rik Mayall, saying it is very unlikely. In an August 2010 edition of Radio 4's Chain Reaction program he said to Lee Mack that he had not really quit but was focusing more on music and farming. He also said that he and Mayall often spoke of a reunion when they are old men, or in 15 years' time. Mayall appeared during Edmondson's winning performance of The Dying Swan on BBC One's Let's Dance for Comic Relief on March 5, 2011. On March 28, 2011, ITV launched a documentary series The Dales, hosted by Edmondson, in which he followed a number of families who live and work in the Yorkshire Dales. The show was produced by Shiver Productions for 3 series, before it was announced axed in January 2014. In September 2011, Edmondson appeared on the Sunday morning cooking show Something for the Weekend and told presenter Tim Lovejoy that he and Rik Mayall were planning to reunite and make another series of Bottom, set in an old people's home. Edmondson presented the ITV series Ade in Britain, which was broadcast from November 7 to December 2, 2011. The series consists of Edmondson travelling around to different parts of the United Kingdom in a mini-countryman towing a small caravan, and giving a programme on that part of the British Isles. It consists of Edmondson informing people about interesting features of the part which he has visited, and often involves him meeting folk singers who sing folk melodies from that part of Britain. On his trip to Sussex, Edmondson met members of the RAF Air Training Corps Air Cadets who played as part of their marching band. A second series was aired in early 2013. Edmondson appeared on the BBC One television series That's Britain, which was broadcast from November 23–14 December 2011. In each episode his task was to report as an insider in how a region of Britain works. A one-off special, Britain Beware, about the history of British public information films, was hosted by Ade and aired on ITV on May 7, 2012. On August 23, 2012, the BBC announced that Edmondson and Mayall's characters of Richie and Eddie would be returning in 2013 in Hooligans Island, a television adaptation of their 1997 tour of the same name. However, on October 15, 2012, Ade announced during an interview with BBC radio presenter Mark Powlett that he had pulled out of the new series of Hooligans Island, stating that he changed his mind and wished to pursue other interests. Edmondson also starred in the film Blood. Edmondson and Saunders reunited with their former comic strip colleagues in 2012 for a Famous Five sequel, Five Go to Rehab. It aired on November 7 on Gold. Edmondson won the 2013 BBC One Cookery series of Celebrity MasterChef after beating fellow celebrities Les Dennis and Janet Street Porter. In spring 2014, Ade presented Ade at Sea, a factual six-part program for the ITV network which follows Ade in Britain. In 2014, Edmondson played D.C.I. Warner in the three-part miniseries Prey. He played the role of Gordon in the 2013 Chichester Festival Theatre production of Neville's Island. In 2014 it was announced that he would reprise the role for the show's West End run. Filmography, television, film, music career. In 1984, Edmondson formed the spoof heavy metal band Bad News as part of the Comic Strip Presents series with comic strip regulars Rik Mayall, Nigel Planer and Peter Richardson. The band proved popular, and they released 2 singles and 2 studio albums. They also played a series of small gigs around the country, culminating in their performance at the Monsters of Rock Festival in 1986. In 1986, Edmondson achieved a #1 hit in the UK singles charts when he and his co-stars from The Young Ones teamed up with Cliff Richard to record a new version of Living Doll for the inaugural comic relief campaign. Despite having been killed off in the final episode of the series, Edmondson played Vivian one last time in the video. The same year he co-wrote the book How to Be a Complete Bastard together with Mark Lee and Mike Lapine. Edmondson has directed pop videos for Fiesta by the Pogues, Prime Mover by Zodiac Mindwarp, Like the Weather by 10,000 Maniacs, Please Help the Cause Against Loneliness by Sandy Shaw and Hourglass by Squeeze. In 1991, Edmondson formed the Bum Notes, who were a jazz instrumental band and conceived exclusively to perform theme music for Bottom. A fan of the Bonzo Dog Doo Dah band, Edmondson performed vocals with them as part of their 2006 Reformation and Countrywide tour. He also contributed vocals and writing for their 2007 album Paul Amadei Kyans. Together with Martin Alcock, Andy Dinnan and Troy Donockley, Edmondson founded the band The Bad Shepherds in 2008, performing punk and new wave classics on traditional folk instruments. The band have released 3 albums and first toured in 2009, playing at places such as the Trowbridge Village Pump Festival. The Bad Shepherds also headlined the first ever Lou Music Festival in 2011. In 2010 he founded the Idiot Bastard Band with Simon Brint, Roland Riven, Neil Innes and Phil Jupitus. The Idiot Bastard Band perform original comedy songs as well as cover versions, and their shows often feature guest performers. The group have continued to perform following the death of Brint in 2011. Discography, albums, non-album songs, personal life. Ade Edmondson is married to comedian Jennifer Saunders and they have 3 daughters, Ella, Beatty and Freya. They have houses in Devon and London. On August 27, 2012, Edmondson and Saunders became grandparents when their daughter Ella gave birth to a baby boy, Fred. In 2014, Ella gave birth to another son, Albert Rafferty. Edmondson is a supporter and current season ticket holder of League Two football team Exeter City FC and often watches them at home and away matches and follows them on Twitter. When Rik Mayall died in June 2014, Edmondson was one of the pallbearers at Mayall's funeral. References. External links: Ade Edmondson at the Internet Movie Database, Edmondson remarks on his Wikipedia page, Adrian Edmondson biography and credits at the British Film Institute Screen Online, Adrian Edmondson at BBCI, Jonathan Creek at BBCI, Ade's personal website.